Welcome to the Be Realistic podcast, where I take the term be realistic and completely flip it on its head and talk about whatever I want to talk about when it comes to actually living the life that you want to live through becoming the man that you want to become or that you need to become in order to live that life. And today I want to talk very plainly about relationships. It seems like something that a lot of men these days just are completely getting wrong. I don't think there's a lot of guidance on it. I don't know how I came to the conclusions that I have come to, but I do know that I'm 29. I'm very recently married, and I have a great relationship. And so I do want to talk about how I came to that, how to approach it, so that I can hopefully help one guy out there start to approach things a little bit differently than maybe he has thought intuitively or that he has been told about women. And the first thing, most of all, is to stop looking. And there is absolutely no shame in falling to this one or doing this, because every guy has done it and every guy has to go through it in order to learn the lesson. I think it's a hard lesson to learn, which is why I want to talk about it. And yeah, the first step, stop looking. What this turns into is, you see it with every guy, where all they're focused on is finding the girl. And there's no focus on who they are becoming, what their goals are, what their mission is. And so what this turns into is they find a girl who will talk to them for whatever reason. There's some sort of attraction there, or there's some sort of connection, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. And it turns into, okay, what do I do? What do I say? How do I get her to like me? How do I act? And it turns into this entire performative thing, which is okay to do, which I'll get into in a second. What's not okay about it is building a relationship off of that, because when you do that, that's what the whole thing is. And you are putting the girl into a position of leadership, and she has to run things, and it's constantly you just playing up this character as to what you think that she wants, which is completely the opposite of how it has to actually run, right? You need to develop your own mission, your own view on life and what you're building and what you're doing, and be the leader in that life, and for you to choose the right partner in doing that. And what most guys do is this performative thing of, okay, what do I do? How do I act? What does she want me to do? And it's just a horrible way to build a relationship. It also then puts the girl in a position that she doesn't necessarily want to be in. And it turns into two people who haven't really thought about life that much, what they're doing, what they're building, or really haven't thought about it at all, have been forced into these positions that they don't naturally want to be in. And they're kind of just going through life step by step, day by day, trying to navigate it without actually knowing what they're building for, what they're building towards. And so the advice here is to, if you have been through a relationship where you got broken up with, you got left, right? The girl just left out of nowhere. You've been, I was doing everything I thought she wanted. And then she just up and left, and she ghosted me and all this stuff. There's always a reason for it. And I think that's step one, is coming to the conclusion that is not, oh, she just left. Oh, she just cheated. Oh, she just did, blaming everything on her. And it's to put the focus now on yourself, and to recognize that whether it was your fault because of how you were acting, what you were doing, if you were just putting on that mask, and she obviously saw that, and so she took advantage and left, probably was your fault in terms of what you were doing. Or if it was just you didn't have your own view, you weren't taking any leadership, any ownership, and there was nothing to build this relationship on, or you chose the wrong one, right? Because you were just taking anybody who would talk to you, instead of taking a completely different approach at it, where you're being a leader for your life and you are choosing the right partner to do life with. And so whether it's your fault for whatever you're doing, or if it's your fault for choosing the wrong one, we need to bring that blame back to ourselves. Not like any sort of, like I said in the beginning, there's no shame in this, right? This is what everybody defaults to. when it's relationships. Like I've been through this multiple times where it's like the girl just left because like the way I think about it, I was just some college kid who was like getting a biology degree and drank 3 times a week and had no like vision for himself or anything. Like what is the value there? And so the first step is to come to this understanding that it's all on you. What you have been taught about women is not true. And it's about you becoming the leader of your life that you need to be. And it's really so much less about finding your wife, especially in the beginning. And it's really so much more about taking the blame, taking control, taking ownership, not of the relationship necessarily, but of you, of yourself and of your life. And so that's where you have to start. And so I am kind of talking plainly here, but I do have some notes written down just to keep me on track. But the most important thing here is you need to be focused on building yourself and developing who you are as a person and figuring out what kind of life that you have to live. And I feel like just that step is something that so many people are missing. And I mentioned in the beginning how it's okay to be doing that sort of performative. I hate to say that. Like, it is kind of okay to be doing that. Okay, what do I say to get her to like me? What do I do? What do I do? What does she want me to? Okay, cool. You can do that. But at the same time, you can't just do that and just be blind to life as a whole. We also, at the same time, have to be taking on this ownership for what it is we're doing with life. That's the whole point of this be realistic. You can take ownership of your life and you can start to take some control for how you live it. You get one shot at it, right? And so, yes, you can do that. Okay, what do I do? What do I say? But you also need to be building yourself at the same time. When I met my wife, I was a nerd. I'd gone through a few relationships through college or whatever, known they weren't for me, had been left a couple of times. And at this point, it was just like in the gym, reading the books, watching freaking mindset videos on YouTube or whatever. I was not in the Bible how I am now. One of the most important one thing I would change and completely do differently, but that's what the focus needs to be, is on yourself. And the point of this is that through reading the book, I'll get into, like, at the end, I'm going to get into like actual, just actionable, you can't go wrong steps to do this for the next your entire 20s, and like you'll end up all right. So I'm going to go through the actionable steps. I'll go over like books and stuff like that, but through the reading the books, through the YouTube, the curating your algorithm, through connecting with God, through prayer, through reading your Bible, through getting in the gym and getting in the best shape of your life and all the things that you learn through doing that, what you're doing is you are starting to take ownership for yourself. And how it pertains to relationships is you are going to start to build your own view of the world and what you want your life to look like. And then once you build that mission, or you at least have some sort of fuzzy picture of it, you can think about what the relationship itself actually will look like. And then as you go through these stages of dating and meeting girls and all this stuff, then you have that North Star of what you want your life to look like. So then you're actually seeing if this person aligns with that. It is a totally different perspective to approach it than just like, oh, I hope a girl talks to me. You're starting to take ownership for yourself and building your life how you want to, instead of just letting life happen to you as it happens. Completely different way to look at life, right? And so that's what you're building. You're building this view on life, what you want to do, your mission as a man, who you want to become. And one of the things that has accelerated this so much for me is connecting with God. And he will, if you do what the actionable stuff I'm going to talk about at the end, if you're doing that, if you're trying with this life that he gave you, and you are honestly trying to connect with him through prayer, and you're reading the Bible and you are trying with this life, he's going to start to slowly lay out the steps for you. He's going to put the next step of the path in front of you that you need. It's kind of just going to come out of nowhere. And at one point it might be the girl, right? And so that's what you're doing. You're building your own view of the world. You're building your own view of what a relationship looks like, of what your partnership needs to look like with the girl, and who you need to become and who she needs to become. Here's the thing I will say about this. Me and my wife, we built this. We're still growing. I mean, like, we're at the start of this, right? We're married we're married 2.5 weeks ago at this point. And we have built ourselves up so much from when we first got together. And, we're always building that every single day. What I'm trying to say there is, it can happen. I don't know how it's going to happen for you, but it can happen where you do build yourselves together. It can also happen where you build yourself up a massive amount and then God puts somebody right in your path. I don't know how it's going to happen, but we were a very raw version of ourselves. And so, but we had the same mindset. We had the same goals. And so the point of what I'm saying, I don't know if I'm going to accidentally double up on this in the future of this, but what I'm saying here is there came a point in our relationship where I was able to sit down and be like, hey, like, this is who I am. This is who I'm becoming. This is what I'm trying to build. This is my view on life. This is what I want to do. This is how a relationship looks for me. This is who I'm looking for. Like, does that line up with you? Like, does that make sense? And going into that conversation and being like, if it's a no, then it's a no. It's just what it is. It's okay, because the focus is on who I am and what I'm building and what I see as a relationship. It doesn't make sense. Like, it's bad for both of us to force a relationship with two people that aren't compatible, that aren't looking for the same things in life. That's the worst thing you can do for a girl, is continue to play this character of, what do I do? What do I say? How do I act so that you'll like me? And then get into this relationship where in reality you're just completely different people and you were never meant for each other in the first place, because you never thought about that North Star for your life of what you're actually doing and what you're actually trying to build. And so it's just a bad thing to do for yourself and for the girl that you're dragging with you, really. And so you need to get to a point where you are confident enough with who you are, what you're building, where you're going, what the world looks like, what your mission is. I know I'm hammering this point, but it is the entire point of, so then you can go into that conversation like, yeah, if it's a no, then it's okay. I can move on. We can move on from this and find the next one. Right? Or we can say, like, yeah, that actually sounds pretty good. I never really thought about it that way. I'm willing, like, I love you, you love me. I'm willing to go on that journey with you. And that's kind of how it happened with me and my wife. And so since we were able to do that, and of course this is over like years of time, right? I've been able to, number one, hold myself accountable, at times hold her accountable to what we're actually trying to do, what we're trying to build, who we're actually trying to become. And when you're able to set those boundaries out, then you always have that to fall back on. It's like, hey, this is what we said we were doing. Let's do it. Right. And when you look at it like that, I mean, it's just completely opposite of what most guys default to and what they've been told and what they think about what a relationship is. The whole point of calling this podcast Be Realistic is like the cliches. Just like, I'm the jerk who like won't even listen to someone say a cliche and like just play along with it because it's so annoying. All right, happy wife, happy life. I'll say this, when we got married, I got a few messages. I was like posting on my story about, she had made some dinner or whatever, and someone had said like, oh, you better say that, you better thank her every time she does that. Like, you got so lucky with that. Not the whole world doesn't have that. And it's like, I understand that the whole world doesn't have that, but it's not like I just got lucky with this, right? Like, this was knowing who I was building, knowing who she is, and us growing together. Of course, I will thank her for making dinner. It's not like I'm against that, but I know, I can understand the the place where that message is coming from. Like, oh, you just got this girl out of nowhere. It's like, it's not how it works. You can take ownership of the things that happen to you and the things that you're doing with your life. And so I just don't take those cliches. I'm like I said, I'm that jerk who won't stand for it. And won't even like play along the like happy wife, happy life. Oh, as long as she's happy. It's like, well, yeah, I'm going to make her happy, but I'm going to make her happy because we've had these conversations about how we're the right people for each other and we're building this thing together, not just, oh, let me minimize who I am and never actually explore who I am and what I want and just play along as this character to make it so that she's not this raging bitchzilla all of the time. What kind of life are we building here? So yeah, when you look at it this way, dude, like it's just the completely opposite perspective. And now I'm going to get into, in a second here, I'm going to get into of what it actually means for you. It doesn't mean don't hear what I'm not saying. I'm going to go over this way more in depth for the rest of this. It's all on you it's not any sort of like power that you immediately have because you're the man in the relationship. It is a responsibility that you have as the man in the relationship to be the proper leader. It's not like, oh, just because I'm the man, I can just be a bum and do whatever I want. You have to be the woman. Like people tend to get that confused, which is completely opposite, completely not what I'm saying. So don't hear what I'm not saying. When I say all of this, what we're going to get into now is the responsibility is all on you to lead this, to know what you are looking for, to hold her accountable, but even more to hold yourself accountable and building the right environment for this relationship that you have. But something I did want to bring up is when you approach relationships from this way of, it's very easy to tell when people approach relationships from this, oh, I'm just going to find some girl and act how I want to so that she will like me and so that she will tolerate me, right? And that's what it's really based on. And it's very easy to tell because a lot of relationships I see that they aren't close, right? Me and my wife are very close. We talk about everything. We're very open. And especially me, right? We're very open with everything. And sometimes you see stuff happen with a relationship and it's like, hey man, how did you not see that coming? Do you not like talk to this person about this stuff? I wish I had like an example off the top of my head for this because I understand how it's kind of just random, but we are very close compared to the other relationships that I see. And this comes from that confidence in like, this is the life's mission. This is what I'm building. This is what now. And I keep saying me because I'm trying to relate to where somebody would be on the other side of this. There's stages of a relationship, of course, right? Like when you first meet each other, it's not the same as her now being my wife. It's us, right? Like now it's us together. It starts out as like, this is your life's mission. This is what you're building as a man. And then like, but now for me, it's like, she's a massive part of that mission, right? Me, whatever I'm building, it is so that I can create a better life for her and our future family. It obviously doesn't start out that way, right? There's stages to it. I'm just trying to relate here. But we're very close, and it comes from this confidence that I always had in like what the relationship was based on in terms of, hey, like there's this life I want to build. There's a partner that I need. It only makes sense to be with the right person to build this, right? Like I'm going to be very open about everything and be very close because like this is the partnership that is going to build this great life, this great family that we are looking to build. And so you can tell very quickly by how close a couple is on whether they're building the relationship the right way. It's just something that I wanted to add in there. And so, like I've been saying, it comes from this confidence in yourself. You have to, let's get into that now. So it comes from this confidence in yourself, right? When you frame it this way, you become the leader. You are the person who is choosing the girl who is going to be the one alongside you in this life that you are building, in this vision that you have. And really you're choosing the right one instead of the girl choosing you. And you're like doing this, what is it? Like there's like birds or whatever, where they got like the prettiest feathers and like the best dance, and like the girl, like the female birds like pick the male birds with the best dance. That's not what we're doing here. And so you're the guy who has the confidence in himself, the confidence in what he's doing through the day after day actions of building himself as a person and aligning himself with God's mission and what God wants out of you as a man, reading the books, building your mindset, curating your algorithm, which is something that I'm going to talk about in building your mindset, getting into the best shape of your life, because you're the type of guy who's taking ownership of his life. That's I guess that's like the foundation of it all. And through that, you're building that confidence in yourself, and it makes you the leader of the relationship, which is what it has to be. The other way of doing it makes the girl the leader, and she doesn't want to do that. Some girls might come off that way these days because it's all they've known, the same way that this is all that guys have known, right? So everybody's got it backwards. And so you have to be the one that ends up choosing, right? Who is the right one for you? Now here is what I don't want you to, don't hear what I'm not saying. This gives you no power. It gives you no power. It gives you massive responsibility to become the leader and the man that she needs, to be constantly improving and constantly be honest with yourself. I sit down at this desk every morning. I wake up, I pee, I weigh myself, I shower, I grab my coffee, I sit down with my Bible and I pray. And in that prayer, it is constantly about improving and being a better leader and being honest with the mistakes that I have made in the days prior, the sins that I've committed, and constantly improving as this man that I need to become in order to create a great life and a great environment for this girl that I have committed to taking care of and being there for the rest of our lives, right? That's what this means. It does not mean because you're the guy and because you've watched this video, because you're a man, you now have the power over any girl, because hopefully if you're here that you're not hearing what I'm not saying, and that's not an issue. That doesn't mean you can just, because I'm the man, I can bum out, play video games. Oh, you make me food, you do as I say. No. She makes the food. She does the dishes. She cleans the house. She does the laundry, because that's her role. And you are also fulfilling your role as the man, being the protector, being there for her, being the leader in any situation, right? It's about the stance that you take. And because of that, then she also has a role, and you're kind of in this thing together. And it's not transactional, right? Yes, it might sound that way. It might come off that way. Like it's this transactional thing. Like you do this thing, I'll do this thing, I guess in a way. But in reality, it's out of love, right? It's because like my wife is the only person in this world that I like, right? Like it's because it's out of love that I want to do these things for you. Things she does for me, it's out of love for me. That's the place that it comes from. That's the foundation. And it's building that environment where everything comes from a place of love that is up to you to build that environment. That's the thing that people miss, dude. I guess that's what it comes back to when I'm talking about being close to your partner. It seems like everybody else is in this like business relationship where it's all transactional, right? Like, I'm with this roommate. You do this thing for me, I'll do this thing for you. No, it's for us, it's all based on love. And so it's up to you to build that relationship, and everything comes together, right? To build that, where you're taking the right perspective on it from the beginning. You have your own mission, your own view on it, right? You're picking the right girl. She aligns with you. She sees those character traits in you that you have built because of the work that you have brought in or the person that you're becoming. And so together that creates a love for each other, and it makes you want to do these things to create this environment of love for each other. That's what it's based on. And so to close this out, I want you to have like actionable steps, right? There was a lot of like theory in there, and hopefully I like hammered the point home of like the perspective to take on it, and the perspective to kill that maybe you've been taking on so far. But the point is to not focus on it so hard. Your future wife does not want a man who is sitting there going, oh, I'm doing the things, I'm going to the gym, I'm trying so hard, I'm trying to become the man, but where is my wife? Why did this girl not like me? It's not like two things can look the same, dude, and it can get really confusing really quick. There are a lot of fine lines going on in how to approach this. And so don't focus on it, dude. Focus on becoming the man who's like even if down the line, right, something horrible happens, she's just out, loses the trust. Like, yeah, that would be awful for me, horrible. That's not something that will happen. But right, say it did. That would be horrible. I'd be messed up for a while. But again, it's the person that I become, like, you would bounce back because you are in control of how you react, how the things that happen to you, how you react to them, right? That's who you become. And so I don't want you to focus on it, be like bumming out about, woe is me, right? That's not who she's at. She wants the guy who's like going at life and taking initiative and being the leader and just taking action, right? Taking ownership in every area. And so it can't be like, oh no, I can't. It's the opposite. Look at it from the opposite freaking perspective, dude. Like, all right, I'm just working on myself. She comes into my life. All right. Oh, well, I'm going to do my best with this girl. I'm going to see what happens with her. Okay, fine. Don't focus on it. Focus on being your best self. You got to become the guy. Become that dude. That's what the focus needs to be on. You need to build this mindset for yourself, however it looks like for you. This is how it looks like for me. Whatever the mindset looks like for you, right? Focus on your career, the gym, your health, your mindset, your mission. There is a level 10 version of you. That's who she needs. The dude with the character who, like, this is another thing. You don't have to have all of the results, right? We were basically on our celebration for our engagement, which was just a vacation we had already planned, and I had just kind of proposed in the moment. But I looked like a bag of milk because I was coming off of back-to-back knee surgeries, and I didn't get back into shape super quickly because of the person I became during those recoveries. But she always knew who I was and that I would bounce back. It's like, you don't have to have the physique, you don't have to have all the money, you have to have the character traits that will get you those things in the future, because that's what the right girl is going to see. She's going to be able to clock the character that you have. If you are the person that takes ownership of your life and is going to continue to improve and take action on things, if something's not going right, he's going to figure it out. That's the person that you need to be. That's the person that your future wife is going to need and is going to want. So you don't have to have the results yet, dude, but you do have to become the guy who will be the guy who gets those things, right? That's what this whole self-improvement thing is about. The results will come as long as you're coming from the right place and you are building the right character. And so focus on becoming that best version of you while staying open to whatever the heck it is that happens to you, that God puts in front of you, right? Any girl, any relationship, being realistic about it. She's the right one. She's not the right one. There's something off about her. Maybe I should. Yeah. God's going to put it in alignment. Just keep freaking trying. And so that's what I want to hammer home with this. I'm going to tell you exactly how to put it into action, but this is the point, right? God will reward you for trying very hard to become the best version of you with this life that he gave you, right? He gave you this life. He wants to see you trying. And so through connecting with him, and being honest with your connection with him by reading your Bible and the guidance that's in there. The books, right? It's okay to get your self-improvement mindset advice from books and all that. What you also need, this is the thing I was missing throughout my 20s, what you also need is the connection with God. All the self-improvement advice that you're getting from the books or the videos has already been addressed in the Bible. It's just a different medium to get it from, right? From a book, which is fine to get it from there. If you digest it better that way, absolutely. But also read the Bible and build the connection with God. Most important thing. Because if you just get it from the books and the videos, this is what I went through, you miss the most important part, which is God's application of that advice to your life and him putting the path out in front of you so that you can then apply the advice, right? The first place being the gym, right? Which is where you sort of learn like these character traits of consistency, of hard work, of, starving the flesh, of all of these things, right? And so that's the point of putting it into action. Show God that you're trying while you are connecting with him. He will start to put things in place for you. And so you cannot go wrong doing this. Wake up at 5 a.m. You might think, oh, but I'll be tired. What if I go to bed? That means go to bed at 9 p.m. and take your magnesium if you need it and go to bed at 9 p.m. no matter what you're doing so that you can wake up at 5 a.m. Wake up at 5 a.m., shower, Bible, prayer, journal, plan your day. Can't go wrong. Shower, Bible, prayer, journal. Prayer, be honest in your connection with God and what you are building towards, about what you want, about the places you have failed in, about wanting to be close to him. All of that in your prayer, be honest. Journaling, a couple of things to that you're focused on for this season of life, getting in the best shape of your life, being more intentional with your time, getting off your phone, cutting out this, cutting out that, a few things there, and then just write out where you're connecting with yourself and what you're doing. Keep a good audit of yourself. This is where so many people float through life. Journaling is where you are being honest with everything that's going on and taking action towards it, taking ownership towards it. One of the good traits that I have is that I eventually get to this place of detachment. It's like, all right, I fucked this thing up, messed up here, didn't play that thing right. I was awkward here, but I'm going to detach from that and be like, okay, I messed that up. I'm going to improve on it for the next time. It's a great thing with like creating content too. You can kind of just like watch it back and how you were and how you're doing. It's a good way to improve on like speaking and stuff like that, I guess. But something that has really helped me is this idea of detachment. So something to focus on there. Journal, plan out what you are going to do for the day, whether that's just work, gym, read a book, go to bed, whatever it is, plan your day. Read books. This is the needle mover for me through my 20s and how I built my current mindset towards my relationship. It's just like an overall mindset about life. And then it sort of like applies to the different areas based on the foundation that is your mindset, which is based on now the Bible, but also like all of those books and how I implement all of those things with the Bible. And that has really shaped my mindset. So read the books, the basics, dude, like everything, the ones that you just hear over and over that everybody talks about, the big ones for me, right? How to Win Friends and Influence People. Think and Grow Rich was big for me when I read it. Meditations, Marcus Aurelius. Mastery, The Creative Act. Mastery is Robert Greene. He has a lot of good books. Some of his stuff is a little bit woo-woo, but Mastery is a really good one. The Creative Act by Rick Rubin is probably my favorite book of all time. Really resonated with me. The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle. Another great one. Dude, just any of the basic, like you should be reading a book a week, a book every 2 weeks if you are a dude in your 20s right now. I could hardly pull out any quote from any of these books that I have ever read ever. But each one just starts to like create this way that you look at the world. And it is so important to do, especially for you right now in your 20s. And as you are trying to become this man who is like the freaking leader, the environment builder for this relationship, that you're building. So read the books, the ones that everybody recommends, right? The basics. Do that for the mindset stuff. And then if you're also working on like a business, you're working on your career that you're focusing on, like get into a subject of that. If it's like sales or marketing or something, like read books based on that. It will just make, again, the same thing. You're not gonna be able to pull out quotes from each one. Maybe you can, but it's just gonna like overall improve how you look at life and whatever this subject is that you're studying. Do both at the same time. Curate your algorithm. Instagram now, you can go in and say like what you want and what you don't want, right? So Instagram just wants you on the freaking platform. So it's going to show you naked girls if that's what you're looking at. And so you can like go in and say you don't want to see that shit. And you can say you want to see Jesus and discipline and gym stuff, right? So go in there and curate your algorithm. Same with your YouTube. One of my favorite things now at night, I don't know why, but like my days have just been packed with doing stuff. And I love just getting into bed at night and watching a freaking YouTube video and just turning my brain off for a second, even if it's just watching Bryson DeChambeau play golf. I don't even play golf, but it's a way to just shut off. Curate your algorithm so it's helping you improve, or helping you, if you're somebody who's doing a lot all of the time, help you just detach. Curate your algorithm so it's not just a bunch of, the point is to make it not brain rot bullshit that you are addicted to. If you're going to be addicted to it, at least make it beneficial for your mental health, right? And then, of course, get into the best shape of your life. This is the low-hanging fruit for anybody. You might not know what you want to do with yourself and with your life and all of this, but you can put into action the things that you're learning about consistency, about doing the work, about working hard, about problem solving, by getting in the best shape of your life. You're like, this isn't working. Okay, I need to figure out this. You can learn about alignment. I hate doing this way of my cardio, so I'm going to try my problem solve and do it this way instead, right? That's the point of getting in shape. It is a low-hanging fruit to put these mindset things into practice. Well, you get freaking jacked at the same time. So it's a win-win. Can't lose with that one. Strength train 4 times a week. Upper, lower is a good way to do it. Very simple and straightforward. My background is in personal training. So this is like what I do. So strength train 4 times a week. Do your cardio. And the way that I look at fitness is to like find the way that challenges you, but in the way that you're going to do it for the rest of your freaking life. So you have to figure out a way to strength train 4 times a week, however that looks. If it's just a bodybuilding style, cool. If it's a little bit more athletic, cool. Resistance training 4 times a week. Do some cardio, whether that is incline on the treadmill for 45 minutes a day and it's just boring and you're trying to force yourself to not be so addicted to your phone and always need to be stimulated and you just want to stare at a wall for 45 minutes. Or if you want to run, I just signed up for a half marathon because I wanted to challenge myself. And so I signed up for a half marathon. So I've been training for that. If you want to be the guy who is the weapon at pickup basketball, this is the example I always bring up. Go and play pickup basketball. I used to just shoot around in the mornings. I never even really like played basketball, but I used to just shoot around in the mornings. It's a great way to get some steps in, to just shoot around for an hour, or go play the pickup soccer. I play pickleball with my family because it's a good way to hang out with them and just do something active at the same time. You can just live an active lifestyle for your cardio, or you can do all of this stuff so many different ways. Find the ways that work for you. Do your cardio, 10K steps a day. Do your cardio, strength train 4 times a week, follow your diet, whatever that looks like. Basic diet, 2 main meals a day that are made up of go-to meals for you. I like to eat around noon. I like to eat for dinner. Have a main protein source, eat natural whole foods, and then put some sort of snack in there, whether that's fruit, whether that's a yogurt bowl, a cottage cheese bowl, whatever it is. Get enough calories throughout the day. Focus on eating natural whole foods. Build your meals around your protein so that you are getting enough of that. Get into the best shape of your life. This video is not about that. That is a very basic way to start with it. I will do more on that, of course. While you do this, again, the point, you are trying and showing God that you're trying with this life that He gave you. He's going to put the steps in front of you. Things are going to start to resonate with you for how you want to do this, how you're going to take ownership of your life. For me, dude, I'm chasing the simple life. help men become men, get in the best shape of my life, provide for my family, live in a house with some land and some freaking dogs, have the business that provides, right? Very simple, straightforward life. That's the one that I want to live. I think that's the one that many men would want to live. Maybe you want to live a little bit more flash. You want to be, okay, maybe you want to be the nomad lifestyle for a while. You love traveling. Okay. Maybe on your travels, you find the girl, right? The point is that through this, you are going to start to understand the life that you want to live, big picture and small picture, in the way that you do your training, the way that you get in shape. This will then help you when you are putting together the picture of what the relationship looks like and how getting in shape applies to your overall lifestyle, right? How do you fit all this stuff in to everything else you're doing? The same way, how does your relationship fit into your overall goals of your life, right? God's going to start to put this stuff together for you, and you're going to start to understand the type of person that you need to become so that you can live the life that you want to live. That's the whole point. Wanted to make sure I put some actionable steps in there for you. But again, the main point of this being how you look at it in terms of becoming the man that you need to become, developing the mission for yourself, the picture for your life, and picking the right partner in doing that, becoming the man that is the leader and builds the right environment for both you and her to thrive in this life that you're building. So hopefully this changed your perspective a little bit on relationships. Hopefully it helps. Hopefully you take some action on it, and it was everything that you ever wanted and needed. Thank you for watching.